So my name is Carol Blaine. I'm a full-time faculty member here at ODU. I am the program director for the Risk Management and Insurance program, part of our business division. I was in the industry for 35 years, went to Kent State to start their insurance program, and there they helped me understand the real power of online learning, and I learned how to create a great course. Came here and further learned from Amy and Shella, so I've been here about 4 years. I want to start with two things. First of all, by show of hands, how many of you teach only on campus right now? Okay, anyone teaching only online? So everyone else is doing a little bit of both? Okay. I want to start by, I'm going to walk over to the board and talk about what the previous two groups have added. And the question is, tell me 3 things that you really like about teaching face-to-face. And if it's up here, just tell me and I'll put a check mark next to it. Or if it's something new, I'll add it. What do you really like about teaching face-to-face?
Class participation.
Okay, this one? Another vote for that, okay?
Interaction.
Interaction. Any of the other ones appeal to you, or what would you like to add? You guys all teach humanities kind of courses, right? Okay. All right, so this pretty well covers it. So what I want to try and do is like talk for the next 20-25 minutes to link it back to that. So the handout you have in front of you is what I put together, so we won't ever get through all of this in the short time we have. So I wanted you to have this to take with you. So this is, based on the research that's out there, is how do you have an effective, or to use Lindsay's word, stellar online course? And there are 6 elements. I left the 6th one off because it had to do with choosing the technology, which neither one of us do. So I left that one off. So the 5 that we can impact: students clearly understand what they'll learn in the course, both the overall for the whole course and each unit. They know how to succeed and are able to continuously track their progress. The course engages students across all learning styles, so the 3 learning styles: auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. The instructor and the students have opportunities to interact in a meaningful way. This isn't just about you giving them a B, more than that. And both the instructor and the students are somehow changed by going through the course. They grow, they learn, etc. So I put together, I used an existing course and just stripped out the student names, and there are some student responses in here to help illustrate some of this. So I want to use that course to walk through each of these 5 to some extent. The way I've laid this out is, and I know you know this, but the course creator, someone like myself, controls a lot of this. But what I want you to understand is, as the course instructor, you have opportunities to make the course better, if you will, to make it stronger against those 5 elements. And I believe that you have the opportunity, and you're in the right role to also make sure that, if not all of those things, a lot of those things are still present in the online experience. So let's start with the first one. So students know what they're learning by completing the course. So the course creator has a lot of control over this, such as putting what they're learning for the whole course in the overview and matching this back to the catalog. Amy is very good when working with the faculty that's creating the course to force us to really think about what are the essential questions that get answered by this course. So those are presented here in the overview. Then if the course you're interacting with is set up by modules, each module should tell them what they're going to learn in that module. And then each week should tell them, breaking it down even further, what are they going to learn in that week. Why is this so important? We know from a lot of research that the human brain that encounters something new with no context is not prepared to retain that new knowledge, as well as if it's encountering that with some type of an early idea of what it is that it's going to encounter. So you guys have all played the trick where you tell your friend, oh yeah, this is Coke, and you give them something that's not Coke, and initially they're going to think it's Coke, right? It's just our brains work in that way. So telling them why they're taking, what they're going to learn in the course, what they're going to learn in the module, what they're going to learn in the unit. You're prepping them for that learning that you want to occur. You have the ability to impact this by adding your voice and your face to the course. Do that through video notes. Do it the 1, 2, 3 minute little video note that you add right here in the lesson resources. You add it right here by saying new, and then you go right into doing a video note. And it can be as simple as the first week you'd probably say, hi, this is me. I'm excited to teach this course. This week you're going to do these three or four concepts. Pay special attention to this concept because it's important to your case study you're going to do in a couple of weeks, whatever. And it's short, it's sweet, no slides. You don't have to do a bunch of prep. You might make yourself a few bullets of what you want to say. They can look at you with your headphone for 2-3 minutes. It's not the end of the world, right? So quick, sweet, quick, relevant, and get your face in front of them every week. Okay. Yes?
And the technology is right there. You can just do it right there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And if you don't know how to do that, that's something that Lindsay can get set up and have someone walk you through that either in person or over the phone.
Amy has some instruction sheets.
Yes. Yep. She can just email it to you. You can also do the same thing at the end of each week, which I think can be very powerful. You can do one that says, great week. Everyone did really a fantastic job on this week's discussion board. Thank you for being so open and honest. A few of you struggled a little bit with this concept, so you may want to go back if you didn't get the grade you had hoped for and do a little more, read this or read that, whatever you want to say. We're going to move on to the next week, and then you go record your next week. So you can put yourself in the course, and that is going to help them understand what they're learning, what they're going to learn, and give some reflection on how they did that week. The student knows how to succeed. Again, you can see the course creator has a lot of accountability here. The grades, though, are yours. So make sure that you are thinking about your grading. One of the things I do online is I don't grade until at least the vast majority of students have posted, because that way I can make sure I'm not anchoring to a particular opinion or idea, whatever, too early. So timing is critical. If your syllabus says you're going to grade within 96 hours and you take 2 weeks, you just lost your student. So commit to what you're going to do with your timing on your grading. Lindsay's probably going to tell you it shouldn't be more than 96 hours after something is due. You never have to grade. Just because one student posted doesn't mean you have to go in and grade that one student. But due dates, that's what you want to anchor on. The other thing that's really important for students to know how to succeed is that you add dates to your course. You are the only one who can do this. So here I've added some dates. So if you don't know how to add dates, it's very easy. I've already done them all, so I don't have a blank one, but there's a spot here that says add dates and times. Let me pull one up down here. Nope, too low. So you just click where it says add date and time, and you bring up the ability to put in a start date, a due date, and then if you're going to shut the particular week down, I have some courses where if you don't get it done within 7 days after the due date, you're out of luck. So you put a date in here, this whole week disappears after that date.
If you have a discussion board and it's got 2 different deadlines, how do you do dates for that?
I do the last one.
Okay, that's what
It won't let you take 2. No, I wish there was. The cool thing about adding dates is it shows up on their calendar. So now, again, we're talking about how they're going to succeed. It tells them when something is going to be available and when something is due. It does not tell you on the calendar when it goes away, but it just goes away. So I recommend you do not put dates on each and every assignment, because this becomes ridiculous, right? So but you can do it at the start and the due. If every assignment has one, it would have all these green things going down, and it's unreadable. By putting it like this, though, it gives them a timeline, and it also goes to their online app if they're using that, and allows them to track when things are due. So you can add those dates, you can grade promptly, make sure you're following up with students who aren't doing well or aren't showing up. Every course is going to have something called, I'm sorry, let's not go at it that way, that can be confusing, called Ask the Instructor. I recommend that you check this twice a day. First thing in the morning, maybe on lunch hour, maybe before dinner, whatever works for you, and answer those questions promptly. Once you do that a couple times, the rest of the students are going to see, oh, this is a great way to get my questions answered. And guess what? You answer it one time and everyone sees it. And they don't blow up your email. So use it. Even tell them in your first video, I'm going to check Ask the Instructor twice a day. If you have a question, that's a great way to interact with me. The grade book, if they want to know how they're doing, this is not a good example because I only have 3 students and I haven't graded it yet. But I strongly, strongly, strongly believe that by setting your grade book up by the week, and you won't do this, you can do it, but hopefully the full-time faculty had Amy do it to begin with. They can see week 1, this is what I did. Oh, look, I'm missing this, because of course they wouldn't see it this way, but their line would be open.
Is this what their view looks like?
I can show you their view. So this is their view. So here's week 1. Here's everything due in week 1. And look, they haven't, there's nothing there. Now, they would know if they submitted it or not, but they're not going to see anything here until you grade it. So by putting it in week order, you're also helping them know what's due. Some people say, oh, I want all the quizzes together or all the discussion boards together. Guess what? The only person that helps is you. And I think this helps me too, because I know each week what I need to look for. If I go back and set this up as an instructor and it's not in week order, let's say it's all the discussion boards first, then I'm scrolling over and trying to find where things have been submitted. Where if it's in week order, right here, and guess what? Once everything's in, I can hide those. I can go up here and say, okay, I've already graded everything in week 1, so I don't even want to see it anymore. So just hide it for me. And now the first thing I see is what's due in week 2. So having this set up the right way is critical. The other thing is make sure they can see their ongoing grade. So you see this eyeball, that means they can see the grade as it progresses. And you want to ignore things that haven't been graded yet, or everyone in your class sees an F, which is horrendous. So there's a setting you can set where you ignore zeros, so that when they sign in, they're going to see, oh, I've got a B. That's great, I got a B. Every so often I email them and say, hey, don't forget, zeros are eliminated, so if you're missing assignments, you don't really have that grade. And then, I don't know, depends on how my students are doing. Sometimes in the 4th week, I'll go in and set that setting, change it, and say treat everything that's not submitted as a 0, so they can see what their real grade is. So you can play around with things like that to get them. But the most important thing is for them to be able to see this, and if you don't know how to do that, there's a little instruction that can be shared with you on how to do it. Okay, what can you do? Since you can't control a lot of this, make sure everything works. When you get the course, make sure all the links work, and of course, you can work ahead of them. If you don't want to do all 8 weeks, do the first 4 and then do the rest. But make sure everything works. Put those due dates in. Grade promptly. Use the news. You have the ability to add news whenever you want. And someone who was just here said she doesn't do the video follow-up anymore because people weren't watching the videos. So she puts it here. She puts a new news item and says, last week you did this, you did a great job. Everything you would say in the video, she just put it here because she found they were actually watching or reading it there. My husband's an adjunct here. He puts what's due each week as a news item. And because he finds they don't always read their course schedule. So he puts it right out there for them. So use the news capability to your advantage. Engaging the students, because we're running short on time, I'm not going to talk about all this, but I do want to mention one thing. You are teaching the course right now. If I did it, created the course 6 months ago or a year ago. So do not shy away from making sure this course stays current and relevant. If I was teaching this course on diversity right now, you better believe all this sexual harassment stuff would be in that week. So you can do the same thing. You just add current content, add a link to an article, add a YouTube video, and keep it current. And you just do it by hitting new and create a file, or whatever you're doing. If you don't know how to do this, ask and someone will walk you through it. That's how you get current, stay current, keep the course current, and also stay in front of your students. Again, we're going for that engagement. How engaged are they going to be if they never see you, if they never hear from you except you say good job on an A quiz? They're not going to be very engaged, and you're not going to feel engaged. When you interact with them, when you make this course your own, that's when you're going to get that satisfaction that you get now by showing up on campus one night a week. Let's talk about interaction. I've talked about the introduction. I've talked about, you can model postings. So if you want them to take a certain perspective on a discussion topic, you could make your own post. I will tell you that I have found instructors getting into discussions can shut the discussion down sometimes. So I don't really say you have to get in there that's not necessarily where you're going to improve engagement. If they're going off track, if they're not pushing themselves, if they're not using rigor, then you can go in and like redirect them.
In your modeling a post, you put that under the weekly resource?
Mm-hmm. You can do it wherever. You can model anything. You could post, I've had to post a couple of sample research papers in APA for some of my younger students because they're just not comfortable with that. I know you guys do MLA, but on business courses it's APA. So you can really add anything that's kind of modeling for them what you're looking for.
And then you put it under the weekly resource.
Yep.
Go there and
Right, exactly. Or if you're modeling an instruction or an assignment, you can add it here under the assignments. What else can you do? Don't just say, give them real feedback on their work. Use the audio feedback, they love it. So there's a little button you push and just say record audio, and we all talk more naturally than we type. So use that so they hear your voice. They love that. Hold those virtual office hours, get text if you can. Use the Google approach if you want to protect your own number. The last thing I want to talk about is, and no one put it up there, but I think it's behind all of them, and that is that okay, let me ask, who's doing this for the money? Okay, if anyone raised their hand, that means you haven't taught your first course yet and seen how small your paycheck is. We're doing it because we get something out of it, right? We're making a difference. We're impacting individuals' lives. So how do you get that same feeling when you never actually see the person? Well, first of all, I would argue that you will see them, especially if you force them, that's not a good word, if you require them to put their photo in their profile. Remember, they have to do it in PantherLearn. It doesn't come over from anywhere else. So that when you're in grading their assignment, you see that person. In this course, that was really helpful. It was almost critical to me because it helped me understand their postings. Was I talking to a white male? Was I interacting with a minority female? And so it really helped me in this particular course to know. Also, I could sort of judge, is this an adult student or is this a traditional student? So the other, you have all these opportunities I've talked about already of how you can interact with them. And I would say on the interaction, which is where I get my good feelings back, is yes, interacting with them, but also knowing them. They're going to post so many things in these courses. They're going to post discussions, and good discussions are reflective. Yes, you might ask them to post on a particular concept, but then make them do a reflective discussion. In addition to talking to me about this particular concept, in your discussion, I'd like you to tell me one quote that you read in your book that was very meaningful, one observation you had in your daily life that related to what we're studying. When you read those, you really get to know this person. And the person you're going to get to know more than you ever know in class is that introvert. Because and I have examples in here I won't pull up due to time, but if you want to get in this course, you could go in and read them. But the introverts, and I knew a lot of these students in this course, never said a word in my on-campus courses. Even if I called on her, she would like stumble around and never really say anything. But online, oh my goodness. And so you really get to know, in my opinion, all the students, not just the extroverts. And thank you, ODU, for doing this. Mixing adults with traditional online makes it so powerful because the adults have the relative experience and the context. The traditional, it's almost like you're getting a free millennial mentor because they're going to push the adults on the perspective they might not have considered. So when you put them together, you get this really rich back and forth conversation that rarely have I ever had to go into a discussion board and redirect because they're right there. Using current events, this course they have to do a short recording on a current event. You start seeing how different people react to a current event, like the whole thing with taking a knee in the football teams. Oh my goodness. And I'm telling you, the things that they post online, most of them would never say out loud because they're worried about what in the classroom? They're worried about judgment, right? They don't want to be judged. But some of what they're going to post would only be read by you. But even in a discussion board, where even us as adults, we feel some sense of safety hiding behind our keyboard, right? So you get a lot more honesty and you get a lot deeper reflection on those discussion boards. So is it going to be exactly the same? No. But do you have to kind of set aside what you get out of standing in front of people? Guaranteed you no. I've many times been moved to tears sitting on my couch in my jammies at 8 in the morning grading because you really are, you sense it. Just thinking about it, I have goosebumps because we're impacting people's lives just like we want to. Okay, any last minute questions before we wrap up? There's a lot on the sheet we didn't talk about. Let me give you my email. It's real simple. It's just my name. So carol.blaine@ohiodominican.edu. CAROL dot or period Blaine BLAINE. So if there's anything I can ever do to help you, please let me know. I will be asking Lindsay about seeing if we can put you into this sample course so you can poke around a little bit more. And I hope it's been a good experience this morning. I know you gave us a lot of your time. So thank you for being here and good luck online.